A massive crowd of young people are running through the streets of London with their phones out, desperately checking coordinates on a map. They're not chasing a celebrity. They're not running from danger. They're looking for a bodega, a corner store where they might get the chance to buy a pair of cargo pants. But not just any cargo pants. These are Corteiz cargos, and they're being sold for just 99p's. This is what happens when a mysterious entrepreneur named Clint drops new merchandise. The thing is, 5 years ago, nobody had heard of Clint or Corteiz. He was just a university student in West London with a dream and exactly zero marketing budget. Today, he's collaborating with Nike. His designs are worn by everyone from Drake to Central C. But here it is. Clint built one of the most hyped streetwear brands in the world by breaking every rule in the fashion industry playbook. No flashy advertising, no celebrity endorsements, no investment capital, just pure, raw innovation and a deep understanding of what makes people actually move, which is my favorite thing to discuss. Let me take you back to this masterclass in turning limitations into advantages. The year is 2017 and Clint is sitting down in his bedroom in West London, born at Central Middlesex Hospital, just half a mile from where he later rented his first office. Clint grew up near Wembley with his two sisters. He's a British-Nigerian university student with a faded trajectory that started well before Corteiz. At 19, while still finding his way, Clint co-founded his brand called Cade with his friend Ade. They were part of a London-based collective called Apex, a group of creative teenagers who bonded over self-expression and a personal style while maintaining what they call I don't give a attitude. Though K didn't last, it was a crucial stepping stone in Clint's journey. But life had some harsh lessons in store. In his third year of university, Clint faced a devastating 1-2 punch. First came the loss of his grandmother, requiring him to travel to Nigeria for her burial. Then, upon returning home, still processing the grief, he was confronted with an eviction notice giving his family just 1 week to leave their home. He kept a photo of that notice on his phone as a reminder of the moment that would reshape his entire perspective on life. It was a brutal collision of personal loss and a harsh reality that would fuel his determination to forge his own path. After the eviction, he took refuge in his sister's flat share in Stamford Hill, sleeping on their sofa in the living room. For nearly 2 months, his sister gave up their living space to help him get back on his feet. It was during these challenging weeks in that borrowed living room that had become his temporary home that the ideal for Corteiz began to take shape. By his own admission, Clint doesn't like spending money on clothes, but it's not because he doesn't care about fashion. Actually, it's the opposite. He cares so much that he can't find exactly what he wants in stores. He was never too interested in the big brands that everyone else was chasing. Most people in this situation would just compromise, buy something close enough, but Clint had a different thought. If you could build yourself your own jumper, why wouldn't you do that? And this might sound simple, but it reveals something crucial about how Clint thinks. Where others see limitations, he sees opportunities. This mindset would become the foundation of everything that followed. Starting a clothing brand in your bedroom isn't exactly revolutionary. Thousands of people try it every single year, and most fail within months. But Clint did something different. Instead of trying to compete with established brands on their terms, he created his own playing field. So first he needed a symbol, something that would represent what his brand stood for. He chose Alcatraz. Yes, the infamous prison. At first glance, choosing a prison as your brand symbol might seem counterintuitive for a fashion label, but this was exactly the kind of conventional thinking Clint wanted to challenge. In his vision, the prison wasn't a symbol of confinement. It was a testament to the human desire to break free. Society is like an island, he explains, and you almost kind of have to escape that island because if you stay there, society will put its pressure on you. This ideal of breaking free resonated deeply with Clint's own experience. If you're planning your next drop and you're not 100% sure it's ready to sell out, I got something for you. I put together together a free online assessment to help streetwear brands like yours figure out if you're really set to make your next release a success. This isn't just some generic checklist either. It's built to help you understand whether your hype is real and strong enough to drive demand, how to keep your brand exclusive while building recognition, and if your plan is tight enough to actually sell out. If you're serious about making moves, hit the link in the description, take the assessment, and find out if your brand is really ready for that release. While his peers were following predetermined paths through universities into corporate careers, he was plotting a different course. The prison logo became more than just a design element. It was a statement about refusing to be confined by society's expectations. The symbol struck a particular chord with London's youth culture. In a city where young people often feel trapped between cultural expectations and personal ambitions, the image of a prison break became surprisingly powerful. Second-generation immigrants wrestling with family traditions, creative souls pushed towards conventional careers, young entrepreneurs told to play it safe, they all found something to relate to in this message of escape and self-determination. What started as a simple logo evolve into a complete brand identity, and that is the key that I want you guys to take from this specific lesson. The prison imagery appeared on limited runs of t-shirts and crew necks, each piece carrying this underlying message of rebellion against convention. But having a philosophy isn't enough. You need to turn it into something tangible, and this is where most bedroom entrepreneurs hit their first major obstacle, which is money, or rather the lack of it. Clint had virtually no startup capital, no wealthy investors, no family money to fall back on. In fact, during the early days when his family was evicted from their home, most people would have put their entrepreneurial dreams on hold. Clint did the opposite. He turned his lack of resources into a strategic advantage. Instead of trying to compete with big brands' marketing budgets, he created scarcity. Instead of paying for advertising, he built mystery. His Instagram account was private at the time. You had to be accepted to see what Corteiz was about. The website, well, it's also password protected as well. You couldn't just browse and buy. You had to be in the know. This wasn't just clever marketing. It was necessity transformed into strategy. When you can't afford to mass produce clothing, you make limited runs. When you can't afford advertising, you make the people come to you. And when you can't compete with the bigger brands' budgets, you create experiences they can't replicate. And that's not all. Because while other brands were paying influencers and celebrities to wear their clothes, Clint was doing something entirely different. He was building a community. Every Corteiz drop became an event that transformed London streets into scenes of barely contained chaos. But this wasn't chaos born of poor planning. It was carefully orchestrated mayhem that turned shopping into an adventure. Instead of the typical fashion launch with velvet ropes and celebrity appearances, Clint created something that felt more like a citywide treasure hunt. Let me explain the formula for you guys. It was simple yet amazing. Drop coordinates on social media, wait for the crowd to gather, and watch as hundreds of young people turn the city into their playground. But the genius laid inside the details. Sometimes the location would be a neighborhood bodega, other times an empty car park in warm wood scrubs. The unpredictability was part of the appeal. Take the now legendary 99Ps cargo pants at Shepherd's Bush Green. Over 2,000 people descended on that location, each clutching exactly 99Ps and change. The scenes were so intense that some people were unable to comprehend why such a large crowd of people would gather for a pair of pants. But those who knew. These weren't just pants. They were tokens of belonging, proof that you were part of something bigger. Then there was the Bolo Exchange, perhaps the most audacious in London's recent streetwear history and my personal favorite drop, to be honest with you. Clint invited people to trade in their expensive Norff Face, Montclair, and Supreme jackets for a new Corteiz bolo jacket. The twist though, only 50 bolo jackets were available, yet hundreds showed up, willing to trade in jackets worth hundreds of pounds for a chance to be part of that specific story. The collected jackets that he gathered were worth over 16,000 pounds. And the dopest part about this was it was later donated to a homeless shelter, adding another layer of meaning towards the event. So you can see how genius his strategies that he come up with works along with his brand identity, his DNA, and his core message and values. Each drop followed its own rules. For the crossbar challenge, people had to hit the football crossbar twice from the 18-yard line to win unreleased sneakers inside their size. During Fashion Week in Paris, he also dropped coordinates unexpectedly, setting fashion's elite and running alongside local teenagers through the city streets. In New York, Bodega became the unlikely center of the streetwear universe for a day. This wasn't just about selling clothes, trying to get y'all to understand this. It was about creating stories. Every person who participated in a Corteiz drop had a tale to tell. Every successful purchase became a badge of honor. In this age of digital everything, Clint was creating real-world experiences that couldn't be replicated on the screen. This brand's growth was organic, and it took time too. It was within 18 months. His Instagram following grew from 50 to 10,000 followers. But unlike most brands that chase numbers, Corteiz wasn't interested in just accumulating followers. They wanted believers. This brings us to one of the most brilliant aspects of Clint's strategy: the way he handled exclusivity. Most luxury brands create exclusivity through high prices. Corteiz did it through engagement. You couldn't just buy their clothes because you had a stack of money, alright? Let's say if you did have a stack of money, if you wasn't engaged within a community, you always would have been left out. You had to be a part of this culture. This culture came together as a collective. The password protected website wasn't just a gimmick. It was a filter. If you weren't plugged into the community, if you didn't follow the brand closely enough to know when drops were happening and how to access them, you simply couldn't buy. This created a kind of exclusivity that money just can't buy you, to be honest with you. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Corteiz's rise was how they handled growth. Most brands, when they start to succeed, rush to capitalize on their momentum. They expand production, raise prices, chase celebrity endorsements, but Clint did the opposite. As Corteiz grew, Clint doubled down on the core principles that made the brand special in the first place. Limited runs became even more limited. Drops became even more unexpected. What I want you guys to get is that the community aspect became even more important. And let me just repeat this one more time. This was strategy. Clint understood something fundamental about modern consumer culture. In this world where everything is available all the time, scarcity becomes the ultimate luxury, but not artificial scarcity created by high prices. Real scarcity created by limited production and genuine community engagement. Understand that strategy is also a form of creativity. Matter of fact, it's a huge form of creativity. Today, Corteiz drops routinely cause chaos in the streets of London. Cargo pants, which normally retails for £125, sells out in minutes. When they did the 99 cargo pants drops, like what I said, over 2,000 people showed up. The scenes were very, very intense and very, very successful. There's some people that was even around these drops outside called the cops thinking something had gone wrong, but nothing had gone wrong. Everything was going exactly according to plan. A plan that wasn't written in any business school textbook. A plan that broke all the conventional rules of fashion marketing, which is why I love this story. A plan that turns limitations into advantages and obstacles into opportunities. The brand success caught the attention of the late founder of Off-White and artistic director of Louis Vuitton's menswear. And Virgil didn't just wear Corteiz, he understood what made it special. In his last interview before his death, he described Corteiz's rise as inevitable, but there was nothing inevitable about it. What looked like inevitability was actually the result of countless careful decisions, each one reinforcing the brand's core identity. When other brands were chasing influencers again, Corteiz was just building their community. When others were maximizing production, Corteiz was maintaining scarcity. When others were raising prices, Corteiz was creating value through engagement rather than cost. The Nike collaboration in 2023 was another turning point, but even here, Clint did things differently. See, when Nike first approached Clint back in 2021, the situation was complicated. Nike was actually suing him over the similarity between the brand name Corteiz and the sneaker model Cortez. That legal battle ended with Clint paying 1,850 pounds in damages. But 2 years later, the tables had turned dramatically. By 2023, Corteiz had become such a cultural force that Nike came back to the table, this time as a collaborator rather than an adversary. And what happened next broke all industry conventions. While most emerging brands would simply accept whatever terms Nike offered, grateful for the opportunity to work with a sportswear giant, Clint approached the collaboration with the same uncompromising spirit that defined Corteiz from the start, and the results were unprecedented. Nike, a company known for maintaining strict control over its collaborations, gave Clint a level of creative freedom they never before granted to any partner. The collaboration centered on the Air Max 95, resulting in 3 distinct colorways: gutter green, pink beam, and Aegean storm. But it wasn't just about the colors though. Clint insisted on details that most collaborators wouldn't dare to request. The sneakers featured the brand's signature C, signed off on the toe box, and a prison logo on the tongue of the sneaker. Prominent branding elements that Nike rarely allows. Even the packaging was customized with a special OG shoebox design. These might seem like small details, but in the world of Nike collabs, they represented a shift in how the company worked with independent brands. The launch itself stayed true to Corteiz's guerrilla marketing roots. Rather than a traditional release, the shoes dropped simultaneously in London, New York, and Paris, each city getting its own exclusive colorway. The locations weren't high-end boutiques or Nike stores either. They were revealed through coordinates, just like any other Corteiz drop. For Clint, the Nike collab was the realization of a dream he'd had since he was 17. But more importantly, it was proof that his approach to building a brand, staying true to your vision, maintaining control, and never compromising on authenticity, could work even when dealing with the biggest players inside the industry. The collab showed that Corteiz wasn't just another streetwear brand that had gotten lucky. It was a force that could influence even the largest corporations in the fashion world. Today, it's a blueprint for how to build something meaningful in an age of endless hype and empty marketing. It's proof that you don't need big budgets or powerful connections to create something valuable. You just need to understand your community and stay true to that vision you had before anyone knew your brand ever existed. The brand's success has spawned countless imitators, but none have managed to replicate its magic. Because what makes Corteiz special isn't just its marketing tactics or its designs. It's the authenticity that underlies everything it does. The understanding that real value comes from creating something meaningful, not just something profitable. The lesson here extends far beyond streetwear. In this age where startup culture often equates success with rapid scaling and quick exits, this brand offers a different model. It's a reminder that sustainable growth comes from building something meaningful, not just something big. And perhaps most importantly, Corteiz shows that limitation. Whether it's their financial, logistical, or structural, it could become advantageous if you're creative enough. The brand's lack of initial funding became the catalyst for innovative marketing strategies. The absence of traditional retail channels led to the creation of unique distribution methods that built stronger community bonds. Looking at what the brand stands for today, collaborating with global brands, driving cultural conversations, and maintaining its independence, it's clear that this isn't just a success story. It's a blueprint for how to build a brand that matters in the 21st century. It shows that you don't need massive capital or industry connections to create something significant. You just need a clear vision and the courage to pursue it on your own terms. This reminds us that in a world obsessed with shortcuts and quick wins, the real path to success often lies in doing things differently. It shows that with enough vision, determination, and creativity, you can turn every single obstacle you have into an opportunity. And perhaps most importantly, it proves that staying true to your values isn't just good ethics, it's good business. As we watch young people sprint through the streets of London, phones in hand, chasing the latest Corteiz drop, we're not just seeing a successful marketing campaign, we're seeing the result of a vision that turned every conventional limitation into an advantage. A vision that understood that in a world of endless abundance, real scarcity, not just of products but of authentic experiences and genuine community, is the ultimate luxury. Sometimes the best way to succeed isn't following the rules, but it's writing your own. A story that shows that with enough vision and determination, you could turn a bedroom dream into a global phenomenon, and you can do it without compromising who you are or what you believe in. I mean, this industry is obsessed with appearance, but Clint built something real. In a market driven by hype, he created genuine value. In a world where everything is available all the time, he made scarcity meaningful again, and he did it all by breaking every rule in the book. That's not just good business, that's revolutionary. Alright y'all, this is Lee from Norff Studios. Till next time,